Did you ever notice this in The Breakfast Club? In the beginning of the movie, when Brian is talking about why they're in detention, look at who the man of the year is on the wall. Carl Reed. A little bit later in the movie, we find out what happens to Carl. Do you recognize his face? The former man of the year is now the janitor at the high school.
I am the eyes and ears of this institute.
Here's a mistake in Gremlins that you may have never noticed. It happens in the scene when Billy's dad is showing him the bathroom buddy, and Billy accidentally shoots shaving cream all over his dad. And you can see the dad has shaving cream all over the right side of his face. But when they cut back to just him alone, the shaving cream is gone. So I just found out in one of my favorite movies, The Wizard, from 1989, which I've seen about 30,000 times. I never knew this before, but Tobey Maguire is an extra as one of Lucas's friends right here during the video game competition. Oh my god! I don't know how they made a mistake this big in the movie Commando. It happens during the high-speed chase when Matrix is trying to catch Sully to find out where his daughter is. And his car rams that yellow Porsche multiple times, but somehow the car just keeps repairing itself. Then he forces it off the road and onto its side. Then he says goodbye to Sully, and the damaged car magically morphs to the middle of the road. And look how damaged it looks on the side there. Well, don't worry, because the car will auto-repair itself again. Looks as good as new. The two best 80s movies take place on the same exact day. We know that Back to the Future takes place on October 26, 1985, because look at what the time circuit in the DeLorean says. And the Goonies takes place on that same day too. Let's look at the facts. First Mouth says, what is this, a nuclear Saturday?
Nuclear Saturday or something?
Then he says it's the last Goonie weekend.
Last Goonie weekend.
And if you look at the calendar on the wall, it says October. Now let's take a look at the newspaper that Steph finds. I paused it and blew it up, and you can see the date says October 24th, which was a Thursday. And if we pull up the 1985 calendar online, we'll see that the 26th is the last Saturday in October. Have you ever noticed this mistake in Ghostbusters? It happens when Dana Barrett first comes to visit the Ghostbusters. And when Dr. Venkman comes out to greet her, you'll see the foot of a crew member moving around behind the filing cabinets. So I was just watching the first Rambo movie, and I think I just saw a mistake that they made. It happens at the scene right after the cop drops Rambo off at that bridge. I'm going to try to pause it right when it happens. It's coming up right now. I'm going to pause it right here. Yes! Oh my god, do you see it? It's one of them fancy microphones they use in Hollywood movies. It's in the movie. Did you ever notice this mistake in the Goonies? It happens when Chunk is trying to escape the Fratelli's hideout, but then ends up running into them driving the car. And you'll see Jake start singing, but as soon as it cuts back to him in the side view mirror, you can see him smoking a cigarette despite us still hearing his song. 80s movie roles that were almost played by other actors. In Ghostbusters, the role of Winston, played by Ernie Hudson, was turned down by Eddie Murphy. And in Labyrinth, Sarah was played by Jennifer Connelly, but she was almost played by Sarah Jessica Parker. And speaking of Jennifer Connelly, did you know that she was first choice to star as Veronica in Heathers? Judd Nelson played Bender in The Breakfast Club, a role that almost went to John Cusack. And Ralph Macchio played Daniel LaRusso, but Charlie Sheen was also interested in the part. Have you ever noticed this mistake in Over the Top? Over the Top is an okay movie, but they just can't seem to get Sylvester Stallone's character's name right. This guy keeps calling him Hawk, for example.
Are you Hawk?
And a couple scenes later, this guy calls him Hawks.
You got lucky again, huh, Hawks?
Okay, the side of his truck says Hawk, right? Then this guy calls him Hawks.
Unless Hawks can't support. I'll make this brief, Hawk.
Hawk! Which one is it, Hawks or Hawk? Did you ever notice this mistake in the Goonies? It happens in the scene when the Goonies are trying to find their way to One-Eye Willie's rich stuff, and Mikey accidentally says Josh Brolin's first name in the movie.
There's nothing buried under there.
There is something buried under them. Matt said there's buried something under them. There's gotta be.
Get off it.